Good morning, Nigeria and world citizens. You're welcome. This is Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television from our corporate headquarters in Lagos State, Nigeria. I am Henry Igwebike, and today we will be doing what we know how to do best, of course, starting from our newspapers, just to let us know what we have in there, from which we will move on to our conversation for today. Do well to be part of what we do. Have a say in what we say. You can reach us when you visit us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. Very so honored to have. Joining me virtually is Barrister Tunji Abdul Hamid. He is a barrister, public affairs analyst, development communicator, and he joins us from Lagos State, Nigeria. Good morning to you, Barrister, and welcome to Enterprise Morning today.
Good morning, Henry. Thank you for having me. It's been a while.
Thank you so very much, Barrister, for your time. So let's start with the first daily on our desk. We have The Guardian, The Vanguard, The Punch, and The Daily Trust newspaper. I sincerely hope we have more than enough time because interesting stories are riddled all over them. But let's start with The Guardian newspaper for today. Big story, not Decries 2027 politics despite insecurity. 4,654 deaths in 2025 alone. Wow, that's a big number. But on the top strip, we have a backlash trails a Senate version of new electoral act. We equally have other growing matters. How botched broadband plans ruined e-transmission of election results. Is this an excuse coming from Bosuti Jani to maybe prove that the National Assembly is doing well for their little issue on the e-transmission thing? But let's take a look at that matter, especially going from the backlash trail Senate version of new electoral act. Barrister, I know this story is big right now in Nigeria and would last for a very long time until 2027. What's your take really on what was there before and what is now as a result of the new action taken by the 10th Assembly under Senate President Godswill Rabiu?
Yeah, what I should tell you now is that there's nothing there as it is now. What is there before is what is still there.
Wow.
Nothing new has been there. Is there now. What is being done is still a bill, so it has not become law. So until it is harmonized and a particular position is taken, that's why we can say this is what it is now. What is it as present? It is still what we have in 2022 in the Electoral Act of 2022, which says it shall be as prescribed by the Commission, which I remember in 2022 when it was passed. I was one of those who said, look, this is an avenue to give INEC who wants to do manipulation to be able to do manipulation. Because in Nigeria, once you give discretion to an agency or an individual or government agency or whoever, they take advantage of that discretion to do their own bidding. So I said that when the law was passed, there was like 2 out of 10, and people were seeing me as being unnecessarily hard on government, that we are always not patient. Let's even try it first.
Communication there. Barrister, we can hardly hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, yes, I can hear you now very well.
So I was saying that what we are going to have now is not clear yet until that exercise is completed. The exercise is still ongoing. The rep has passed their own without any rancor because it appeared to be in line with the thinking of the masses. Mm-hmm. The Senate own seemed to have attracted a lot of criticism because it looked like it's not in line with what majority are looking for. Majority are looking for a situation whereby the result will be uploaded instantly, as soon as they are done. But what I also don't understand by what majority are looking for is whether or not they are expecting that when the election is being casted, as soon as you cast your vote, the result will be uploaded, or they are saying once the result has been collated at the polling unit, you scan it and send it to the IRF. If that is the one that I think is possible for now, because the first one whereby people are expecting that as you are casting your votes, it will reflect on the IRF may not be possible because we are not doing e-voting. So I think that is the mindset of some of the members of the assembly. But the excuse being given is that we don't have some places don't have network. If it's about the ensuring that the collation immediately after the collation is on that are sent to IREF, I do not see how that is a problem. I do not see how network will be an issue for that one. They are not saying as you vote, it should reflect. Except if that's what they're saying. I also not agree with that because it may be difficult to achieve because we are not doing e-voting. So as far as I'm concerned, we have to wait and see what will be the outcome of the harmonization committee between the House of Rep and the Senate. Because for a bill to become law, particularly a bill of this nature, both houses must agree on it. If there's no agreement as to it, then the bill cannot be passed into law. So there must be harmonization. They must agree on the language to be used. They must agree on the clauses to be put, and then at that point. But I don't want a situation whereby we'll give INEC another discretion as to what to use. That would be a room. You are already promoting opportunity for them to manipulate. Because I'm saying so because I've lost trust in our INEC. Because going by what happened in 2023, if you listen to the explanations and the promotion by the INEC at that time regarding the use of IREF and the importance of IREF, they make it look like with IREF, transparency has come to stay. There are a lot of days it wasn't to be. So because of that, I will not be too because of lack of that trust. I will not want a situation whereby the INEC will be given opportunity to have a discretion. But in some situation too, there is no way the one being proposed by Senate now look like they are making sending it to the IREF as a what's it called, as a backup. They are not. It's not looking like it's also part of the main collation center results that can be relied on. I think we can adopt the two pari passu. We can say the EC8A will still be used, and as soon as the EC8A is filled at the polling unit, before everybody dispatched from that polling unit, it is sent to IREF for immediately. I think, or within a particular minute, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, or whatever. I think I would prefer that one than to say, look, if there is the EC8 that was suggestion transmission. I thank God they both agree on the transmission of results, but transmission to where? The INEC did not. The Senate one passed by the Senate did not state whether they don't even mention the IREF. And you know the position of the court at last in 2023. The court said IREF is just a mere viewing center. So because it's not recognized by our law. So we need to, if we want IREF to be recognized by law, it needs to be part of this of the law itself. So the relevance of it must be known in the law so that we can be able to rely on it. I know that, look, the IREC in their guideline promised that IREF will be used in the last election. But they said because of the glitch, they won't use it again. But the Supreme Court now said, yes, they have the right to petition it. They are not under obligation to follow it. I think that's where the problem is. And the Supreme Court, in their wisdom, that's what they said. But I beg to disagree that look, guideline of INEC for a student of government who's not even a lawyer, you will know that there's what we call delegated legislation and subsidiary legislation, and regulation, guideline, or rule from a government agency or body or institution are classified as delegated legislation, as classified as subsidiary legislation. So if a law is made pursuant to a provision of the Constitution, if a guideline is made pursuant to the provision of the Constitution, how can that guideline that is called subsidiary legislation not be enforceable? That's why I say I have my disagreement with the Supreme Court. But the Supreme Court is the alpha and omega. And so in their wisdom, they've said, look, it is not. So, and that is the law today. So we must follow it. And that's why people are now saying, look, let's have it specifically in the law that IREF is should be recognized when it comes to a challenge of a result, or when it comes to a collation of results. So for me, we still have to wait and see what will be the final outcome of the harmonization by the rep and the Senate.
All right,
before we can say whether or not we are thinking.
All right, I sincerely hope that would work for Nigerians, because what we want is participatory democracy, because it doesn't really make any sense that you queue under the rain and in the sun to cast your vote, and at the end your vote is not counted or is not given the respect.
Let me also add, let me add that people are agitated because of lack of transparency and lack of trust. And in that regard, for us to have transparency, because in law, they say justice is not only to be done, but must be seen to have been done. Yeah. If people are satisfied that, look, this is transparent enough, there will be little cases in court when it comes to election petition. But because when people are not satisfied, people are not clear, things are not clear, there's no transparency, people will go to court. Bearing in mind that for a couple the fact that people are not even, the trust is not even on the INEC because of what happened at the last election. So in that regard, I think they should look and see how they can balance the situation.
All right, so let's move to Lagos this time around, and from Vanguard newspaper, on the top strip we have Makoko demolitions. Fate of 1,000 school children hang in the balance. Barrister, speak to me on this, and what do you think the law has to support and help these school children? Over 1,000 of them, they used to school in that particular vicinity. What's your take on the demolition, on the fate of these children, and equally on representation? Because there are people, councillors, state house members representing that community. What's your take on this?
Yeah, Henry, I think that is one of the consequences of lack of proper planning. Sometimes when you don't plan well, there will be consequences. I believe that for a government to say you want to demolish a particular area, particularly that large part of it, occupied by a large number of people, you must have planned on where they will be taken to. You must have looked at the schools that are there, the children are going to school there, what will happen to their schools. So many things will have been put in consideration. But what we see in our own part of the world is that government don't even care when they want to take action. What they do is that they take action and then they thereafter think about the consequences on the part of the citizen.
But they put the cats before. Sorry to interject, Barrister. What if the government says they are there illegally? The waterways or the waters belong to the government. No one has been given a C of O on the surface of the water. So they are there illegally. So don't you think the government has a right to say you are not supposed to be here because you don't own it? You came from all over the place to settle here, which is not legal, and therefore you must see yourself out.
Henry, the government has the right to say to eject anybody that is living staying in a place illegally, occupying a government space illegally. Just like a citizen that also has the right to eject a tenant that enter into his property illegally. But what we are saying is that there are whether I enter into your house illegally or I enter upon your land illegally, there are processes, there are procedures to take me away from that land. It is not by force. You cannot just use a might and say I'm coming in the middle of the night and destroy my house and say because I'm occupying it illegally. Especially when it's coming from the government, who has the responsibility of safeguarding the welfare and the security of the people. And the same government is now throwing people into lack of welfare, lack of security. So for me, it is not about how they occupy it. It's about the mode of sending them away from the place. There are procedures, there are processes to be followed. I'm not aware of any law which gives anybody the power to take away anybody from his land, whether that person is occupying legally or illegally, without any court order. Most times, government don't have court order. In fact, even in the case of Makoko, in some cases, the people to be ejected will have court order from the court, restraining the government from going ahead. The government will ignore it, and they still do the same thing. So for me, the excuse of they occupying legally will not justify the fact that government will not follow the due process. Does not give the government the right to just do as they like. I'm not aware of any law which gives the government the power to carry out execution of judgment of court, even if they have one, or to implement government policy or enforce government order in the middle of the night of that nature. In the middle of the night, I'm not aware of any law to that effect. So, if in fact doing it in the middle of the night alone is enough to say it was not done properly, it was done illegally. So, for me, the government has a responsibility now. People have been thrown out. Children have been thrown out of school. the government has a responsibility to ensure these children are educated, because the law says it is the responsibility of the government under our law. They must ensure that every children have primary, compulsory primary education, so or secondary education. So the government still has a responsibility to make provision for these children, and so that this community that has been displaced, their children will not be moving around without any, will be out of school without a way to go further. This is the lack of planning from the government as far as I'm concerned. The government has not done the right thing, and that's why you see what you have seen. That is the consequences of not thinking properly, or not thinking through of the consequences of what you want to do. But because but most time in Nigeria, the government they do it deliberately, because they just want to do. They believe that using force is the only way out. When you are not using force, you may not get results. So they want to, and that's dangerous, because individuals who are not even government may be following this pattern and will be creating chaos. Because people will now say, he's occupying my property illegally. So he will not go to court. He will want to go and throw him out because he believes he's occupying it illegally. If you allege me of occupation of a place illegally, it is only the court that can pronounce that I have committed an offense. Sorry, I am liable. Or you cannot accuse me of that, of the wrongdoing, and then you'll be the one to judge it, and then even implement it, the judgment. So for me, that's what is lacking in this lack of due process. And in that regard, the government will have the responsibility to ensure that these children are fixed and are taken back to school. How they will do it is now within their head to think and provide this solution for them. But they have the responsibility under our law to ensure that children are in school and that they are taken care of. In fact, by our law, the primary education should even be free. Yeah. But although it's not enforceable under our law, that is a responsibility of the government that must be done. But what do we see in our country? They ignore them.
All right. Of course, with the data that we have, over 23 million out-of-school children already roaming around the streets. Just imagine adding this number from Makoko already. The number is really alarming, and this is not good for the security of Lagos, obviously. But let's move to the Punch newspaper, Barrister. This is quite interesting. Daniel, that is Benga Daniel, and Musa absent as Dapo Abiodun endorses Tinubu for 2027. Barrister, everyone would envy President Bola Tinubu at this point. He is looking like an SS1 girl who is being, given lots of left eye or eye contact by lots of boys. Everyone wants a piece of her, and she is all over the place, doing yanga, like we often say it. This is not just in Ogun State. It's happening in Rivers State. Every one of them is jostling to support President Bola Tinubu. Do you think that the president might just be sitting back and having a fun time while people are struggling over him? What's your take on this?
Yeah, the president will be sitting back and thinking, "Look, I'm this loved by the people, or I'm doing quite a good job, and that's why people are falling over me." President will be thinking that wise, and people around the president will also be thinking that wise, that the president is doing something right, or probably the president is. But you see, if you look at these people, excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, sorry.
If you look at these people, who are jostling for support to support the president, they are not doing it because they love the people. They are doing it for their own personal gain. Some of them are doing it to gain favor from the president thereafter. So if you look at that, the president and before that, so many people or governors are jostling to support the president, does not mean it's automatic. Excuse me.
Yeah, sorry.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Yes, please do. All right. So we are talking about the jostling for who would get the most favor from President Bola Tinubu at this point. Everyone is struggling to support him by all means. Yes. All right, Barrister, you're back.
Oh, thank you. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm saying the fact that so many people are running after, or the governors are running after the president, does not mean they love the president, does not mean they are fighting for the people. They are doing it for their own personal benefit and gain. And they want to be associated with him. They're thinking that he's already winning the next election. But if you look at the last election, in 2014, 15, the one that took Jonathan away from office, over 28 governors, sitting governors, were with Jonathan. Almost all the Obas gave their support to Jonathan. So many other politicians did the same. At the end of the day, he lost the election. So the president will look at that and he will not be sitting back. He will think he's a politician and they want to say, look, anything can happen. Therefore, he will not fold his arm, just like ask to say, look, I have won, and therefore I need not do more. The president will still do more. And that's why he's fighting to ensure that he gets more members in their party.
But Barrister, you were saying the president will do more. Why is he struggling this hard to get the attention of Nigerians if he was leading the people well? City Boys movement is another arm of the desire to get more people from his son, Seyi Tinubu. City Boys is being campaigned by old men that are calling themselves boys because they all want to get what falls from the master's table. Does this show good leadership from President Bala Tinubu at this point?
I'm not saying, my point is, I'm not saying the president has done well to be able to get a new term. I'm saying that in the eyes of the president, because so many people are falling over him, he will believe that he has done well. And it is right to think in that manner. And I've said it again, like people who are falling over the president are doing so for their own personal right. Yes. So this is politics. And like I said, this politics as a game of number. So the president intends to win another election. In fact, he has started, even before the last election, the 2023 election, during the campaign, he started 2027 election ahead. Because he said, I remember saying while he was in Enugu, he said, if I do not give you light or electricity, don't vote for me for the second time. So the president was looking ahead of, even as against the 2023 election, was already looking at 2027, when he has not even won the election in 2023. He has not won the election in 2023. So for me, the president is more concerned about politics than governance. So and that's why you see him doing what they are doing. They are not looking at what is on that. But if you talk to the president or people who support the president, they will tell you the president has done he has achieved 80% of his promises. That's what they will tell you, or even of 70%. They will tell you he has done well. And then what they will give you, if you ask them to give you what the president has done, they will tell you it was bold to remove subsidy. They will not look at the consequence of that subsidy that was removed. Whether after the removal of the subsidy, the country became better, they will not tell you. They will tell you the FS, what's it called? FX issue. Yes. Yes, it collapses or whatever. They will not tell you that upon that step, our exchange rate went to almost 2,000, and they are bringing it back to below 1,005 now, and they are saying yes, it's doing well because it's moving. They were, before the president came on board, we are buying fuel at less than 200 naira. Yeah. Today we are buying at almost 1,800 plus. Yes, all those are there, but people will tell you no. That is what we need. We are laying new foundation for the country, and when you are laying new foundation for the country, things will not be as rosy as you think. So they are always thinking in that manner. When Buhari was there, these same people were telling us to be patient, that President Buhari was laying foundation, and that when he finishes his foundation, we will see the results. After 8 years, I did not see any results. In fact, the same set of people are the one coming to say he did not do anything. He bastardized the economy. So for me, if you are warning yourself that the support is about good work of the president, you are deceiving yourself. It's not about the good work of the president. Those who are supporting the president are doing so because of their own personal interest. And that's why I say those who are against the president should also do their own work. Just like these people are working day and night to ensure the success of the president. Those who think they are not working for their own interest should also come together and do their own. So we cannot just sit in our hand and fold our arms and blame people for doing what they believe is right for them. So if the people are selfish in the country today, so you must also be selfish about your own interest. It's selfish if your interest about the people, be selfish about it and work for the people. That's what I'm saying. So we cannot just fold our arms and say, why are they like this? Why are they not like this? Why are you not also doing your own to portray your stand? So that's why I'll be telling our people, we should not just condemn them. We must also do our own to counter whatever they are doing if we don't believe in what they are doing. And you can see those people are just pushing themselves to get a better opportunity should the president come win election in 2027. So for me, it's a matter of politics, and that's what they are playing.
All right. It's often said that politics without a mix of humanity and people's interest is not politics any longer. It could be termed as dictatorship or authoritarianism. Politics that should have people at the center is what democracy should look like, equity should look like. Nigerians deserve a better. After many years of independence, Nigerians deserve better. And we hope that the crop of leaders we have would give us that desire that we want for Nigeria. And talking about the opposition doing their best, that we will talk about when we return. U.S. bill targets Kwankwaso over religious violence claims as APC NNPP cry foul. In the Beat Enterprise morning, it is don't go anywhere. Like we would be joined, of course, on this conversation with Emeka Madunago, joining us with Barrister Tunji Abdul Hamid. In the Beat, please don't go anywhere.